We are hunting badgers to save wildlife.
They're like a vacuum cleaner, you know, they take everything.
If looks could kill, Daisy and the Goldies are in training. Plus competitive shooting, a gun club success story. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Badgers and their sets have been protected in the UK since the 1992 Badgers Act. This is not the case in most other countries. Here in Sweden they manage a mammal that, left unchecked, is a kind of four-legged Klingon, destroying everything in its path. After a day's wild boar training, Tim has been invited out by Michael for an evening's sport Swedish style, hunting badgers with dogs.
We're shooting them because they're like a vacuum cleaner, you know, they take everything from eggs to meat.
So nesting birds as well? So
yeah, they'll take nesting birds as well.
Young chicks and everything else.
And if it's young chickens as well, they'll take that as well. The badger is normal taking easy ways. They go on roads, they go on the fields. So we go to fields or like where the cattle is, because they go and get worms, for example, in the shits of the cattle. So it's easy to go there, or you go to a feeding place where you have the corn. So just to get some tracks after the badger, so the dog can get the sense, and then he will follow the track till he finds it.
So we're using a dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously to actually
find it.
And the name of the dog?
Stiffy. But in his proper name, in his nameplate, you know, on the board, it's called Stifler. That's nice.
But you call him?
I call him Stiffy because it's easy to pronounce it when you stand and screaming it in the forest.
So you're shouting Stiffy, Stiffy in the middle of a forest?
Yeah, and people don't understand why I'm standing and screaming.
Hunting in this way is also a good way of training the dogs for boar hunting. It's exactly the same format, but one is done at night, the other during the day. And Stifler is trained to know the difference. Otherwise we would be finding all sorts out here.
You can hear him barking. Probably it's under something, because you hear him just a little bit. So either way, it's in a den or it's under just a stone. But we'll see him soon. We have to walk there now. Okay?
Excellent.
We charge through the forest and clear fell towards the noise.
Oh, they have cut down here as well. Did you hear it? You can hear it? Oh, you hear it? I'll just have a check if I can see it. Okay. Hold this. Yeah. What's going on now? The dog is very close, barking at this badger now, and he will attack. The dog will try to attack it all the time. But the problem here is now that you have a very big rock here, and he's just to the left of it, so it's very hard to. You can just hear the badger. So he's very, very close, but I can't even see it when I was laying down.
It's tough to see how we will get a clear chance, so we leave him be.
This will live for another day.
It's quite exciting, isn't it?
It is.
Hey?
Yeah.
Well, what was really...
you could really hear
well, yes, but also we're actually running through
the forest,
the middle of a forest at the middle of the night, pitch dark. We're trying to chase you, and you're a bit kind of younger than us.
Yeah.
And we're crashing through the trees, going up over rocks, down rocks. They end up next to, I don't know what that is, a huge boulder.
Yeah.
And obviously the badger's gone underground. So.
Yeah, it is. Right. But like I told you, he's just taking a temporary place where he hide.
He's hiding. Yeah.
So this is a place. We'll not get this tonight, but we'll get it another night. Yeah. But it's fun. He found one anyway, so That was the point.
Yeah.
And we'll carry on. We'll go back and then we'll try another one.
Find another one.
Yeah.
Superb.
Half an hour later, Stifler brings a badger to bay. This time he's holding one above ground. Michael calls Stifler off, steps in and dispatches the badger. No gassing,
Good job.
no poisoning, just a very fast, clean headshot.
It's a male. It's a big male. This will be around the night. This one will be maybe 2-3 years old. This one.
You can understand in England there's a huge uproar about the badger cull in certain parts of the country.
Yeah,
And there's no denial that they are beautiful animals.
they are.
They're stunning, absolutely stunning animals. But they do a lot of damage as well. So in your country, you do something about it.
Back in the UK, the government pays millions to cull badgers to halt the spread of bovine tuberculosis. And just because the politicians are held hostage by one of their own laws. Here in Sweden, badger culling is efficient, free, and carried out by people who understand wildlife management, not by civil servants. The Swedes there keeping wildlife management in the hands of people who live next to it. Now to somebody else who likes to snuffle round hedgerows in the middle of the night, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Scotland is paving the political path to the biggest deer cull it's ever seen. A report by Scottish Natural Heritage introduces the idea of a limit to the number of deer in Scotland of 360,000, which means cutting existing numbers by between a half and 2/3. It criticises Scottish deer management groups for not culling enough deer and threatens new legislation. If it goes ahead with its cull, the Scottish Government will need to shoot up to 1,000 animals per day in Scotland all year round, which has led to anger from Scottish wildlife managers.
My biggest concern with the deer numbers is that they're relying on population assessment, particularly through dung counts and woodlands. And this system, as you know, Charlie, was never set up to give national population figures. It was done to give you an indication of the number of deer using a particular habitat type. To extrapolate these figures through the private estate as well leaves it open to huge inaccuracy. The confidence limits could be out by up to 40%.
So if the basic number they're working off is flawed, and they follow this through, what will they end up killing?
I think they'll devastate the Scottish deer population, and they'll do it rapidly. Practical experience from guys that have been managing deer all their lives, particularly up and down the west coast, is that deer numbers have dropped significantly. And it's alarming that a government agency could come out with a figure that's totally different to that, hasn't listened to information of people that are managing deer, but is relying on something that's little better than anecdotal by using dung counts.
The Inuit are hitting back at antis over the seal hunt. An Inuit filmmaker has made an eye-opening Canadian National Film Board documentary called Angry Inuk about the Inuit seal hunt and the decades-old conflict with southern animal rights groups. You can see the film at bit.ly/seal hunting. Duck Dynasty is coming to an end. The popular TV series about duck shooting in the US state of Louisiana, which stars the Robertson family, is now in its 11th and final season. It achieves reported audiences of more than 1 million viewers per show and is one of the most popular shows on US TV. There's a new hunting website in town. Huntmag.eu offers news and views about hunting and shooting in several languages, and you can even watch Fieldsports Channel on it. And finally, America's oldest hunter has shot the buck of his life. 103-year-old Clyde Roberts from Virginia shot the animal this season. He took up the sport in his 60s. This video shows him talking about hunting as a mere stripling at the age of 102. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now Roy has a new bird in town and she's a killer queen. We're out with Roy and company at a pre-season eagle boot camp. Roy is working his golden eagles and his friend Sang is over from Korea to train Daisy, the African crowned eagle. Both are big, powerful birds of prey, but a few design tweaks mean they flourish in very different environments.
I think she's coming on 4 years old now.
5.
5 is she now. So we got her going in her first year a little bit, and then Sang's come over to really sort of pick up with her and crack on, and he's doing superbly well. So she's showing a lot of promise. We've been doing some lure training with her for the last few weeks and increasing her fitness, and she's really starting to come into her own now. So hopefully Sang will go and have a bit of fun with her. So, are you pleased with the way she's coming on?
Yeah, she wasn't very nice in her first year, was she?
No.
She's a bit confused. Obviously, Roy raised her, and then she didn't like Roy, but now she's grown out of it. You know, she seems fine. She's all right.
The plan is to get Daisy hunting. She's big and powerful. Her natural diet would be monkeys and small antelope, so ideally she'll be flying on larger game.
Our initial plan was to go out to Europe with her to hunt small deer, water deer, muntjacs and roe deer. But whatever comes up, hare's fine. But she's not really keen on feathered quarry, like pheasants and what smaller hawks and falcons go for. Yeah, she's too big to really chase them. So yeah, ground quarry mostly, and up to size up to roe deer. Yeah, she'll manage.
To the untrained eye, these eagles might fly in a similar way, but speed and tactics are different in both.
With the African birds, the process is actually a little bit simpler with them, because with the goldies they do tend to be quite clever, and they switch on to things very quickly, whereas these guys, it is a very reactive, sort of more primeval attitude that they have. So yeah, it's almost snake-like. It's, you know, they react to it and they're away, whereas sometimes the goldies think about it a little bit more. But yeah, really fun to fly, and it's just nice seeing her coming on so well. So hopefully a little bit more fitness training, and Sang will have some success in the field with her.
Baby the golden eagle is cunning and manipulates the flight to force the quarry to make a mistake.
We were talking about differences between the way, or differences between the eagles, and you can see the way that Baby flies. He'll come alongside the lure, and this is exactly what he's doing when he's hunting, and he will try and force whatever he's hunting. So if it's a hare, he'll come alongside and try and force it to make a manoeuvre, because once the hare's committed to that manoeuvre, it's a lot easier for him then to take his time and make the decision when to do it and when to take the quarry out, because he knows that when the hare is turning, it's less likely to be able to put in another evasive manoeuvre. So he waits for them to commit before he then decides to come in. And that's what he does when he's flying the lure. He'll come alongside it and he'll just try and put a couple of false turns into it, as if he's intimidating it, trying to make it turn. So that's what you were seeing him coming along there doing, and he'll always try and come along the side and then swipe in. So again, it just shows that they're thinking. I mean, although they're not that intelligent, because he does chase this an awful lot, and you would have thought over time he'll probably realise that the lure is not going to deviate, but it's good practice for him and he enjoys it.
On the fist, you can appreciate Daisy's big guns. Her feet are far more powerful than the goldies.
When you look at the crowned eagle's feet, you can't help but be impressed. Whereas the golden eagles are designed for taking quarry that's not quite as tough, so their foot structure isn't as big and as impressive as the crowned eagle. They've got a longer wing and a slightly shorter tail, because the habitat that they fly in, which is typically open moorland and hills and mountains, is very different from the habitat. So again, they just fill completely different niches in nature.
Daisy has made huge strides over the last 4 weeks, and hopefully she'll be hunting in a few weeks' time, not on the plains of Africa, but sunny Scotland. That is a bird that anyone would like on their arm. Now I'm off to a gun club in Somerset that's been given a new lease of life.
Stand by.
They said that the restrictions on handguns in the UK in 1997 would drive the sport of target shooting underground. Well, there's a re-emergence, though it certainly feels a bit subterranean as I visit a new range in Somerset.
So we're in Shepton Mallet, where Frome District Pistol Club has just opened a new range. So after looking for an outdoor range for about 10 or 12 years, and actually we'd identified a couple of locations. Things just weren't moving as fast as the membership needed. This was identified probably only about 12 months ago, and in fact taking this range from the agreement of the Planning Commission to the firing of first shot was achieved within about 6 or 7 months.
Now, all this building work could not have been done without money, and shooting is not a rich sport. Happily, Frome District found a backer.
It's thanks to the NRA that we've actually been able to fund the new range, primarily because although we had a reasonable amount of money which we'd built up over the years, we didn't have sufficient money to actually convert the building. So the NRA very generously came in with a large grant which enabled us to buy both the steel and the ballistic blocks for our backstop.
The quid pro quo is that the NRA has a range available to it in the southwest. It works well for both sides. You don't have to do practical pistol here. You can come and zero your stalking rifle if you want.
Frome was founded on competitive shooting of everything. So we shoot all the gallery rifle matches, we shoot the action matches, the practical matches, we shoot rifle. Probably the only thing we don't actually shoot on a regular basis is actual pure target rifle. Everything else we shoot, everything else we have a minimum of an annual match for.
Today there is a practical shooting match taking place. So how do you shoot that?
So practical shooting is a mixture of thought as well as engagement. So you've got the technical aspects, but you also have to determine how you approach the various scenarios. And it's not only about the highest score, it's about score against time. So finding a way where you can engage the target, score high, but do that in the shortest time possible is really the main element of practical shooting.
It's dynamic shooting, it's about fire with movement, it's about planning, it's about skills, and it's about manipulation and knowing your firearms.
And what could go wrong for them?
Pretty much anything. Gun malfunction, partway through a stage would be a major loss at this point. Tools down, potentially, we had it last time, one of the competitors had a firing pin break, and that's it. 150 point stage and he's gained 10 points.
Today's match is part of a much wider series of Mini Rifle League events backed by the NRA.
So far in Mini Rifle League we've had over 100 entrants, individual discrete entrants, which isn't bad out of 5 matches. I mean, across the country there's 3 or 4 main key clubs who run it in the south of England. 2017 we're looking at some new venues to run more events. We're looking to put numbers up to 150. It'd be massive rapid growth is always difficult to accommodate. So when we seek development clubs and partner clubs to run the league event, we're looking for established clubs with a history of actually having shot and bid a mini rifle, the capability to coordinate a proper event, because you don't want 34-year-old turning up for a weekend, having a bad weekend shoot and then thinking this is rubbish and not taking part again.
How do you get started in practical shooting?
As a club, we train new members anyway, and we have club firearms. So as a new member you could come in and shoot all of the disciplines with club firearms, club ammunition and club trainers. However, if you want to excel in a particular discipline, then we would take you through specific training or offer a suggested training course with other national bodies.
For more about the NRA Shotgun League, the NRA Handgun League and NRA Mini Rifle, search Facebook or go to nra.org.uk. From Shepton Mallet to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Andrew Reynolds Hunting has put up a series of clips of ferreting with lurchers which are good. This is my favourite. The terror of vermin on the English south coast. 260 Rips's 223 varminting out to 300 yards. He calls it a quick kill reel, but it is remarkable shooting as ever. John Harrison is shooting pinks with Aberdeenshire goose guide Scott Cruikshank from SAC Shooting. You will hear the goose music in this film. I am a big fan of hunting with catapults. It requires such skill and I wish I could do it. Here is a man who can. Keith Dighton showing how it is done. Our man in South Africa, Rich Leonard, is out on a Nyala hunt and there's a remarkable shot reaction. As usual, top quality filmage. Good work, Operative Leonard. Juan de Dios Bonilla has put up a film of a Spanish Monterier. It's the latest in a series he's been uploading. These are half-hour films over music from a first-person point of view. This is a prettily shot atmospheric film about a Dutch hunter called Edward van Adrichem. He is one of the grand old men of shooting sports in Holland. The film is in Dutch, but but you forgive it for the photography. And finally, this is hilarious. This channel reckons that shooting in a bra is better than shooting in ordinary clothes, and you may well agree. Perhaps we should all do it. Yes dear, look sexy, make love to the camera. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. We are back next week. If you haven't done so already, pop over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. And can I say thank you to viewer Owen Merrill from Colorado, who went over to our website last week, didn't like what he saw very much and is fixing it for us. But you can still go there even while Owen is working. Thank you, Owen. And you can click to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, pop your email address into our constant contact box on our register page, and we'll contact you about Field Sports Britain. It's at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Field Sports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.